Wednesday, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg. Welcome to Now.
I was a little curious. Maybe we had Santa Claus here with the ho ho ho.
I'm feeling very judged right now. Feeling very judged.
Welcome, everyone. Well, it certainly feels like Santa should have stuck around a little longer because it's North Pole-like conditions out there. Except it depends, I guess, on where you were today.
Way more snow today than on Christmas, so there you go.
That's true.
And look, a winter wonder. It was aesthetically pleasing today.
It was. Yeah. Those snowflakes, beautiful.
I could have done without the cold and the ice, but the snow actually was pretty good.
Right. So. The commute for some people, not
the best. No.
How about the commute home, Keith?
I described Lee as aesthetically pleasing to people. Just like normally, that's the first thing.
That's so nice.
Comes to mind.
He gave you a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, still snowing a little bit out there, depending on your location. There's some pretty good bands of snow back inland. Let's have a look at it. The storm collapsing to the coast, almost done in Portland and down to Cape Elizabeth and Scarborough as well, and then about to end in Yarmouth and Wyndham as well. And then Boothbay still sees a couple more hours, it looks like, of snow, and some heavy bands in here coming out of Jefferson. Look at this one right through Augusta right now. That is heavy snow, and we've seen a few of these bands set up and drop 1 to 3 inches of snow pretty quickly because of the intensity on the backside of these, and then still some snow across northern Maine as well. Millinocket, one of those spots. Getting some nice reports out of here of 7, 8 inches of snow thus far, and they have several more hours yet to go. Here are your snowfall reports. So far, Kingfield, 8.5 inches of snow. Bethel at 5 inches, and Lewiston at 2, but that will be updated. They have more than 2 now. The Jetport in Portland, 3.2. And then 4.5 in Farmington. These are storm totals, by the way. Caribou 3.7 and Fort Kent 5 inches. This is not one of those you can wait out and wait for it to melt, because temperatures tonight will drop back down. Everything will refreeze, and after that into the freezer, guys, for the weekend. It looks brutally cold.
Yeah, talking about how we're going to clear the driveway and stuff, because it's all wet and slush, and if you don't get rid of it real quick, like once it gets to tonight, you're done, and then that's going to be your base for basically the rest of winter. So
yeah, time to act. Yeah. So, like we just said, those freezing temps last night mixed with the snow this morning made for a messy commute for most of us this morning.
So that had a lot of us thinking, what are the best practices when it comes to trying to navigate and drive on these icy roads? So we turned to Cameron O'Brien, who got us the answer.
Hey y'all, so I went up to Wyndham to meet with driving guru Rick Vance, and he said if the roads are bad, don't get on them. But we all know, sometimes we just gotta do what we gotta do and we gotta get out there. So Rick Vance gave me some tips on how to stay safe. Meet Rick Vance. He's been teaching new drivers the rules of the road for more than 30 years. And when it comes to icy and snowy weather, he tells his students that common sense prevails.
I mean, it's no different than walking down your driveway. If it's glare ice, we go real careful to go to the mailbox. Nice and easy, one step at a time. Same thing in a car, and it'll work.
We put his advice to the test and took the trusty student driver car on a tour of Wyndham's slushy roads. Rick's first safety check happens before you put the key in the ignition. Check your tires and make sure your windshield and mirrors are clear.
Clear all the snow off the car.
All right, so once you take to the roads, Rick says look far ahead of your car and prepare in advance for what's to come.
The best thing to do is to approach the turn nice and slow and not come into it too fast. And there it is, it's all kinds of slush, just nice and easy, and we have no problem at all.
Okay, so say you are driving slow and steady, but you hit a patch of ice and start to slide.
If the tires start spinning, you just back off the gas, let the tires regrip, and then slowly accelerate again.
And if that doesn't work, Rick says the best bet is to shift your gear to neutral. That'll stop the car from continuing its forward momentum.
Almost every car, you can shift to neutral without even looking. Like right now, I'm going to go to neutral. All you do is just hit the lever forward, and now you can use the brakes and bring yourself to a nice smooth stop.
Although it may feel like a natural reaction, Rick says the worst thing you can do on an icy road is pump the brakes.
You got to prep yourself and teach yourself to not lock the brakes up. Locking the brakes up is the worst thing you can do because you lose all control of the car.
So Rick tells me that if you're skidding and you're going to skid into an intersection, a good tip is to honk your horn and to throw up your flashers so that other drivers know what's going on. And if you feel like you may hurt someone or hit someone, you know, God willing that doesn't happen, the best thing to do is either try and aim for the back of the rear tire or in front of the front tire. You never want to try and hit somebody in the passenger door and never head on. Back to you, Lee and Lindsay.
this situation could be solved in a 45-minute meeting. This is a choice between right and wrong.
He promised to keep government shut down for months or years, no matter whom it hurts. That's just plain wrong.
So there seems to be no end in sight to the government shutdown, now the third largest one of its kind on record. In a primetime address last night, President Trump telling the nation he will not give in until there is a border wall.
Meanwhile, there are hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers nationwide. In Maine, it impacts those who fill hundreds of federal jobs, according to the Maine Department of Labor. During this time of uncertainty, one thing is for sure. Mainers are doing what we do best, helping others.
Hello, you have reached USDA Rural Development. We are not in the office at this time. We are on furlough due to the lapse in federal government funding.
That's the message you'll get if you call the USDA Rural Development Office in Scarborough. There are 15,000 federal workers in Maine, according to the Maine Department of Labor. 51 unemployment claims have been filed with the department since the start of the shutdown nearly 3 weeks ago.
We're offering a variety of ways just to keep the stress level low for people going through a difficult time.
John Paradise of Town and Country Federal Credit Union says they have several options, including a loan for furloughed workers.
We're offering 1% interest. They can borrow up to $5,000. They have 12 months to repay it. We're refunding fees.
Others are helping to keep food on the table.
We're willing to help them out in any way that we can.
The South Portland food cupboard is stocked. Aside from the shutdown, it serves 150 seniors a month with supply boxes like these. But items they come with, like juice, come from the USDA.
We anticipate that it will still be coming to us. Of course, there's always that nervousness as to whether the partial government shutdown is going to bring that to a halt.
For Dwayne Hopkins, helping others is his passion.
This one is his first dog tag when he went away to basic training.
And right now, it's personal.
And I kiss it every day. Our middle son has just been pinned as a captain in the military. He's Army Reserve, but he and his family still depend on that paycheck as well. And of course, there's always a concern as to how far this government shutdown is going to go.
Do you like it? Among those who are working without a paycheck, TSA officers and air traffic controllers. But at the jetport, a sweet note was delivered today saying in part, quote, "Thank you so much for being there for us at a high personal cost to yourselves."
Also, we heard at the jetport today that there were customers buying gift cards at Starbucks and bringing food and anything to help support the TSA workers during this time. So it's what we do best, right? Like you said already, it's a very nice thing. So, all right, we love it when our viewers send us story ideas, especially some questions. It's kind of why we're here. You can always send us an idea on our Facebook live stream.
Or you can use the hashtag AskNow on all social media platforms. We'll find it. Chris Costa is answering a viewer's question about electricity bills.
And Lindsay, it's a topic that has a lot of people fired up these days, and Judy sent us this question. I've been watching your reports of CMP's upcoming electricity supply cost increases. I believe there are alternative suppliers with lower rates. Would you consider a report on this? Well, she's right, and here's what we found after speaking with the Maine Public Utilities Commission. The companies like Central Maine Power and Emera Maine both deliver electricity, but they do not supply it. There's actually an entire marketplace put up by the Maine Public Utilities Commission of 70 or more certified providers. Companies you've probably heard of, such as CN Brown or Giroux Energy, and they all offer different supply rates. Now, if you do not shop around, so to speak, you get what's called the standard offer. The standard offer is right here. It's this rate that the PUC puts out for bids by other big electricity companies. So yes, if you look here on the left side, there are some cheaper options besides the standard offer. But make sure you look at those terms and conditions from those other companies about what you are actually paying for and for how long. Now, the Maine Office of the Public Advocate on the right side of this page has a cost comparison tool where you can put in your monthly kilowatt hours per month, you can put in the standard offer or any other competitive rates, and you can figure out how much you're going to pay. Now, all of this is very important because according to data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, Maine's electricity prices rank 11th highest in the country. It's the lowest in New England, but the 11th highest in the country. Again, if you have any question or a story idea that you want us to look into, you can always email us at asknow@newscentermaine.com, or again, you can use Ask Now, the hashtag, on any social media platform. Lee and Lindsay.
All right, Chris, thank you very much, sir.
Well, today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. We're going to find out what this day means to our local officers.
And we will meet a man who wants to start a religion to help drug users stay safe. We'll explain it.
How's everybody doing? Nice to see you all.
Thank you. So, hey, Sarah, I don't know if you heard me before, but this is the second day in a row, so I feel like this mic's broken. Coco, I need your mic. So this must be broken, because this is the second day in a row that this mic hasn't worked.
A lot of you guys have been using the twinning app, and we started using it today. So we'd love to see your twinning pictures if you have them.
Yeah. Did you guys do that?
It's Pop Sugar.
Pop Sugar.
Oh yeah. All you have to do is Google Pop Sugar twinning, and it'll take you right to the website where you can do it. And it's pretty hysterical. We're gonna share some of ours coming up.
Coco, Jesse says thank you for answering that question. It was great. Yeah. So, that's why we're here, Jesse. That's why we're here. You guys know where Maddie is?
Which block
I'm assuming. Yeah, you're after this package.
After this package?
Oh, we're in the newsroom.
We are.
By the way, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Hey Fred, hey Paul.
Somebody also had a question. I'm trying to remember.
A lot of you guys talking about your driveways turning to ice already,
hey,
just like
Peter
yours.
is in the Dominican.
Yeah.
But he lives in Hollis, but he's in the Dominican right now.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm
Oh, you know
so
what?
jealous.
I lied. It's not for another block. There's still a commercial before you get to you. Yep. We still have a story.
Thank you.
It's the next block that we're moving.
Gotcha.
Sorry. You guys are going to not be able to hear me again. Sorry. Lindsay has the mic.
I have the power.
How come they never give you the broken microphone?
Because I have a voice that doesn't break microphones.
Oh, did you break the microphone
again, eardrums?
Just eardrums, he says.
My mic's broken. Lindsay hogged it, so you have to talk to her on Facebook. Sorry. Sorry.
What's my next thing?
Roselle says, stay off the roads.
Yeah, the sidewalks were awful.
Is this the weatherboard today, Keith? No, that's for Brenda. So you're doing this one?
Yeah. Really?
You're being muted on all levels. Today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, so if you haven't thanked your local officers, don't forget to do so.
Yeah, those officers, chiefs, sheriffs, every person with a badge and uniform work hard to keep us safe. So we asked some of those law enforcement personnel what they hope to do in 2019 to strengthen their relationships with the communities that they serve.
I think it's important to treat people like they're friends, like they are neighbors, like even members of the family. So it may be difficult to do when you're arresting somebody, but in general, I think we should think from a customer service perspective to make that relationship as good as possible.
I hope that in 2019 we're able to continue a unique way of approaching our community, both with our law enforcement corrections officers, finding unique ways to understand the services that we provide and what the community expects from us.
That is good stuff, and thank you from all of us here. All right, coming up, we're going to meet the man behind the Church of Safe Injections.
It is a thing.
It's a thing.
Okay, and Keith's forecast coming up next.
Now we go to the newsroom, and now Maddie comes over here.
So this is a nationwide thing, your story.
Leo, that's a good call.
What's up?
No, she's after my tag of this package. Leo says I need to get here earlier so I can get the good mic.
Hey, Coco, you have a question from Lori. Lori wants to know what's the web address for CMP's competitors.
Okay. You should go to, Lori, if you go to our website, I have the link in the story that's about Maine's electricity prices being ranked 11th highest in the country. The link is going to be in there, but it's on the Office of the Public Advocate. That's the one that lists all the different competitors.
And we have a now section of the website too.
Let me double check to make sure I put the right one on there.
Okay.
But I'll put the link to that story. I'll reply to her.
Perfect.
Okay.
He's going to reply to your comment, so you have the link right there. All right, we're walking, and I got to grab my thing. Yeah, I got a little. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
They look all right, though?
It's that wild burrito.
I would have had some of that.
Can you grab me a piece of paper, Lee? Need another white note. That's cool.
Not allowed. Yeah, what's up, Isaac?
Anybody
Here.
got a piece of paper? Thank you.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
That better?
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Church.
See how short I kept this? I saw we were in the news. And I'm like,
Yeah, and I like the placement of that tablet.
Line. I know. It's a short intro. I don't think you'll get to us.
Oh, I'm coming fast.
Uh-oh. It's coming in hot. It's like DBL.
DBL.
There is nothing hot about DBL.
There is a new church that's gaining some traction across the country.
But this is not the type of church you've probably heard much about.
This is naloxone hydrochloride. It's the medication that reverses opiate poisoning.
Jesse Harvey doesn't want people to do drugs, but if they are going to do them, he wants to help make it as safe as possible, feeling like there needs to be another choice besides get sober or die.
Here within Maine, 418 people died last year as a result of us only offering them those two choices. And nationally, over 72,000 people died. There is this third option, the harm reduction, that is, again, it's supported by the American Medical Association, the CDC, the World Health Organization, all the largest bodies of medical professionals, because they all know that it saves lives, saves money, and it helps people get better.
Maine currently has needle exchange programs in Portland, Ellsworth, Augusta, Bangor, and Machias. Only serving 5 of Maine's 16 counties is one of the reasons why Harvey and others will travel around handing out safe needles to those in need, even though they know it's against the law to do so.
I provide harm reduction services at the risk of getting arrested and at the risk of being incarcerated because it's the right thing to do, period. If it saves lives, if it saves taxpayers money, and if it increases the chances that people will actually get into recovery, there is no valid reason to not offer it.
Back in September, Harvey opened up the Church of Safe Injection. In 5 months, the church has 18 branches covering 8 different states. Harvey's hoping to one day apply for religious exemption to the Controlled Substances Act, which has been granted to other churches in the past. In fact, both the Supreme Court and the U.S. Congress has granted religious exemptions to banned substances.
It's in all the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. It's in all these religious texts, showing care and concern and compassion for marginalized and disempowered peoples.
Now, Harvey says that the medium to long-term goal is to secure 501c3 status and then to apply to offer services including naloxone or Narcan training throughout the state, as well as syringe exchange services that are currently underserved communities.
Have
Have you ever wondered who your celebrity lookalike is? Well, thanks to PopSugar's twinning tool, you can find your celebrity doppelganger, or so they say. The website is pretty simple. It analyzes a selfie or uploaded photo and compares it to a database of celebrity photos for you to find your match. It then gives you a twinning percentage with your top 6 results. You might pair with a TV personality, a famous politician, or if you're like me, a raven. Seriously, PopSugar, a raven?
I don't know. I kind of see the resemblance there.
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
You don't think the raven?
I'm done getting embarrassed.
Shouldn't it have
Let's
to be
see your
humans
results.
or something?
Yeah, you should at least have to be a human.
Or like a puppy. Why couldn't I be a puppy?
We were having a lot of fun with this today, and you have some of our results,
let's take a look at the team. Let's see. So we all give us a try. Who's first? Isaac, our producer. Looks like Shawn Mendes.
All right.
He must get a little lady.
But I feel like there's some music involved there, maybe? Is he a musician? I don't know.
Cam!
Cam looks like
99.9% match? Are you kidding me?
That's the cutest monster I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Monster's teeth are
I can see this
Jake
one.
Miller, who I have not heard of. I have heard of Chris Costa.
This one's pretty good, actually.
No, that's pretty close.
The
We were
hair's
talking about this earlier, and he was like, who is
It's the
Jake
hair
Miller?
wave. Okay, what's this all about? Who's that?
You know who I've gotten?
But
the
who's
guy
Simon
from the
Helper?
Verizon commercial.
Oh, yes, I agree.
I can see that.
Yep.
There it is.
This one.
DJ
All I do
Another one.
is
Lee,
win,
I
win,
know
win.
You just took my joke.
And we're doing some old Hollywood glam with mine.
I can almost see
Do you know
where
who
the
Betty Davis
algorithms
is?
get it though. Like, see how your eyes right there look similar?
Yeah.
They just take like one facial feature, I think,
Sure.
and match the proportions.
Okay, but they
Teeth,
gave
raisin?
Maddie
No, I don't
like
know.
a
Yeah, I don't
metallic
know what happened with
creature.
that.
Yeah, and they gave
What
Cam a
feature is
monster.
that? So,
The monster does not make any
The monster
sense to
is
me,
cute,
Cam.
though.
It
Yeah.
doesn't. It is a cute monster.
it was fun, but it's not accurate.
The snow was kind of cute today.
No.
In that like snow globe
The
type.
forecast was fun, but not accurate too. All right, let's have a look at. Hey, I was on Twitter today saying that every once in a while it happens, and it is what it is. I was not pleased with the forecast. The funny thing is, the numbers will end up fine, but the timing was off, and we had freezing rain last night. All right, here's the last of the storm. It's very slowly pivoting out of the state, and so that snow has collapsed to the coastline, done over far southern Maine, Portland down into York County, but still snowing. Harpswell, Booth Bay, Brunswick, just about to be done there in Brunswick. Some good bands. Look at the darker blue here coming out of Augusta on the northeast side of the town. That's heavy stuff. Heavy stuff coming out of Washington as well. And so there's still a couple of feisty bands left out there. Snowing across northern Maine, that's breaking up. So everything is rotating around that axis of the storm. Take a look at this live camera of the Carrabassett Valley Sugarloaf right now. It's dumping when you can't see much of anything. They're reporting, I think, 9 or 10 inches of snow. Current temperatures in the 30s. We were really hard fought. And something just we talked about earlier, but to stress it, it's going to refreeze pretty hard tonight. So anything that you have that's slushy along the coastline, you probably want to get it out of there because it's going to come down and freeze hard, and then it's going to be till Tuesday of next week before we unfreeze that stuff. So there's the last of the snow. It's stubborn over down East Maine, not until 11 or midnight. A couple of snow showers in the mountains. After that, we're partly cloudy through the day on Thursday. Temperatures start okay and then start falling during the afternoon, dropping into the upper 20s later in the day. And then Friday is a very cold day, as is Saturday, as is Sunday. And that becomes the story as we head into the weekend, is the brutal cold. Now look, it's going to be mid-January. So statistically, this is the time of the year that we get this kind of cold. But it doesn't make it feel any better when you're outside. This is what we're thinking for Saturday morning. 12 below in Berlin, 11 below in Freiburg, 5 below in Millinocket. Some computer models have it even colder on Sunday, with temperatures almost 20 below across northern Maine, even the coastline hovering around 0. So, gets more boring, my job here over the next 5 days, but it's cold, and it still looks like the Patriots are probably going to miss that storm on Sunday, but there could be some light snow, and I don't know if that does a ton of good for them, or if you need the straight up blizzard for the home field effect.
Well, we'll find out about 4 o'clock-ish on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which way it went.
Game time decision.
There you go.
All right, a lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams joins us with a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Can you imagine being at a toll booth and having the driver in front of you get out of his car, brandish a knife, and rob the toll booth operator? Well, it happened here. we've got the details. And Maine lawmakers have lots of education proposals to consider, but one is getting a lot of focus right now, and that is what can be done for very young children in Maine. And can we afford what's proposed? That's all ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
Cindy, thanks so much. Stick with us. Raindrops when we come back. And it's a big raindrops.
Let's say hello to Robin Dobbins,
okay,
who was not watching us until Carrie York tagged her and said hello, and now she had to come over to see what she was tagged in, so now she's watching us.
That's a fun thing we should do. Okay. You guys should all tag somebody who doesn't watch us.
Tomorrow we're doing that.
And let's grow our Facebook party.
Tomorrow we are totally doing that. Everybody has to tag one friend not currently on this feed and say hello to them. Be like, hey, Joey. Even though Joey's not here, then Joey's going to get a notification that says you tagged. But wait a second, what did I get tagged in? And it'll be us. Surprise.
Because with this party, the more, the better.
Right?
Am I right?
More fun. Yes. Are you right or are you right?
Am I right?
That's what
Hashtag
we're doing.
am I right?
All right. That's what we're doing.
That's a great idea.
Carrie York gets credit for the idea, even though she didn't do it on purpose. We're doing that tomorrow.
I love it. That's so cool.
Start thinking about what friends you're going to be tagging tomorrow. You have to say hello to them, so there's a reason for them to come over. Like, hey, what's up,
and we promise we'll make it worth their while.
We'll address each and every one of them.
Yes. What's up?
Hey, Seth. Make sure your camera's switched to downstairs mode for you. I usually frame up Cindy myself.
Hi.
Do you have another 5 minutes?
Yes, but we don't use the tablet, so I plug them in. One less thing I gotta do. Yeah. Thank you. I told you I didn't realize the sleeves were like this, right?
Really?
Yeah. I got it from a consignment shop. You think so? Are you very into what's going on the TV right now?
I am. Plus, my mic doesn't work, so.
Oh, right.
I can't talk to Facebook.
Hi, everybody. You guys just heard my little conversation with my BFF, Rob Nesbitt.
Did you see my email? I didn't see your response. I shot it back across the bow.
My makeup only looks good when Rob does my makeup.
My makeup never looks good because I don't wear makeup.
I can't believe you don't even wear like a shine powder,
Sometimes.
anything.
In the summertime I will.
Yeah.
When I get like super tan.
Keith wears makeup, right?
Yeah.
So does Clay.
Okay. Are we doing
Sometimes
something
I share makeup with my husband.
Did you say we're doing something before that though?
Say we're out on the VO.
Is there a script for that?
Selfie museum.
Oh, we don't have. We don't have them. Hey, it's all the rage. It's the Selfie Museum. I feel like Keith is already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this is in Texas.
Yeah, it's only around for 3 weeks, so you got to get there. You got to take selfies of yourself,
Look
obviously.
at that. They have props and
I mean,
backgrounds.
if there's a Hall of Fame, Keith, you are first ballot on this one. There's a ski lift even, so you can pretend you're like skiing while you take your selfie. But the Selfie Museum in Texas, limited attraction, so you only have 3 weeks to get out there.
Here's the thing, I actually don't take many selfies because I have a big nose, but Corey takes great selfies.
Yes.
He
does. Really good
Gardner takes good selfies. It's
Same
just
face.
the same face.
He just
every
that's,
picture. I think he just photoshops different outfits.
It is.
It's
yeah.
one picture.
Yeah, I saw him in the Himalayas.
Exactly.
Look great. All right, I want to talk about cold air damming. We throw this term out sometimes. It's what happened last night. We got the freezing rain that we didn't expect or we didn't forecast. And so what is cold air damming exactly? First, you have to understand what a warm front looks like. This is a schematic cross-section of the atmosphere. So warm fronts basically have a cold wedge of air that is in place, right? The warm air rides over it, because remember, warm air rises. You see that in your house, right? And the warm air rises over the top of it. That creates precipitation and clouds. So these warm fronts ride over the top of colder air. Eventually, what happens is that the warm air saturates all the way down to the ground, and we warm up after a warm front comes through. That makes sense, right? What happens in the case of cold air damming, and it happens quite a bit in Maine and northern New England in general, is you get a high pressure system that's funneling continuously cold air down from Canada. So the issue with that is when this warm front comes through and it's trying to wedge out this cold air, it's being resupplied over and over again out of the north. And so when we say it's having a hard time scouring out the cold air, that's what we mean. What has to eventually happen is for the high to move away, the north flow goes away, and then everyone warms up. And so a situation like last night, the difference between being 42 and rain and being 30 and freezing rain like we ended up is how quickly that cold air can be scoured out.
And is that the kind of thing that you can't see it coming, it just happens?
I think we do a pretty good job with it. Jess and I were talking about, we accounted for colder than the models by about 5 or 6 degrees, and we were still too warm. So sometimes you miss it. We're always aware of it. But last night was a 10-degree model whiff, and it was because of cold air damming. So it's an interesting little forecast thing. New England and the Appalachians in general get it quite a bit.
Interesting.
All right, sir.
You always learn something from raindrops. News at Maine at 5:30 starts right now. Sometimes you feel sad after raindrops. Sometimes you feel less than. Today I feel informed.
Bye.
Bye.